Yeah, Clay. So Rambo told me that at this point it's going to come down to whoever shows up best on any given day. So I guess in your experience, how much of winning a championship during this point in the season is a mental game?
I'd pretty much say at this point at champs, which is at the end of the season, and it being the top four, I would say it comes down to strictly mental game. I think everybody that's made it this far is understanding of the fundamentals of the game and how to accomplish what they want on the map, and it really just comes down to who has more composure, who has more clutch factor, who counter stratted the other team good enough, all those things. So I really think once you get to this point, it's like 90% mental.
All right, we'll move on to Teo.
Hey Clay, hope all is well. So my question is pretty general, I guess. So the fate, the Atlanta FaZe have been your toughest opponent all season. So what do you think it will take for you to beat them now?
I think if us and FaZe were to play on even footing, with no advantage to either team 100 times, I think we'd both win 50. I think that since they have the number 1 seed and we have the number 2 seed, they have what we call veto advantage. So it's just a little bit of an edge when you're going through that veto process before the match starts and how the maps and the sides are picked out. So with them having a slight advantage, it's going to be a little tougher. I would swing it, a little 5-10% more their way. And honestly, to beat them, we just have to make sure we execute in the moments where we can win. It's going to be tough if we put ourselves into a hole like we did versus Toronto. So one of the main things, we just can't get down big early. I think if we're able to match them map for map and kind of force it to a game 5, I think that's where we're going to have our best chance to beat them. So honestly, that's what we're trying to do, is just not get down early and make sure we can extend the series as long as we can.
I actually have a quick follow-up if that's all right. Uh, so, so the just looking at matchups specifically, obviously Simp and Shottzy are, they play a similar role and they're both just really highly regarded players. You can speak on some of the other matchups that you guys have as well. I know the double AR one is interesting with you and Krim looking more comfortable now. But, just looking at Simp and Shotzzy, who do you think wins that 1v1 in a vacuum?
Um, that's tough for me to say, man. I think they play honestly a little bit, although they're both very highly respected and definitely two of the best players all year. I think they play a little differently. I think the matchup between Shotzzy is going to be more Shotzzy and Abizi, not Shotzzy and Simp. I think the person we're going to have matchup against Simp is probably somebody like Illey, and so really that whole matchup and how that all works, I think we have stronger matchups on some side. They have stronger matchups on other sides. I think we have a bit more teamwork than they do, and so I think that's really what we're going to rely on in our match versus them is pure talent, obviously, but just making sure our teamwork is on point. And I think if we're able to keep the style that we've been practicing going in our match versus them, I think we should be able to beat them. They've kind of had our number all year. I think we've beat them 1 time, maybe 2 times. But the past 3 matchups or so, they've beat us. And although the series were tight, it's just going to come down to making sure we execute in those clutch moments. I mean, we're at the winners finals at champions, so it's like there's no better time to win a match or get over that hump than like a winners finals at champs. So really, I'm just looking forward to getting this match started, and hopefully everybody steps up in their matchup.
Great. Now we're going to move on to Ardo Cal, ESPN. Go ahead and ask your first question.
Hey, Clay, the MP5 change that happened recently, can you just put that into context? As someone who's been in the league and COD competitive for a very long time, I should say, can you put into context like the severity or like where it would rank this kind of change, maybe minor but significant, so close to the Final Four in the context of what has happened in previous years?
If there's one word I could use to describe Call of Duty Esports, it's adapt. And I think that, stuff gets thrown our way and stuff happens. And especially with the variables of it being online now and the pings and, all that stuff. I think COD is just a game where you got to roll with the punches. I think it's a do or die, adapt or die situation. And I think It's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. These guys have all been practicing with this gun for months and months and tens of thousands of hours. A visual change isn't going to really affect them that much. And honestly, it's just another thing, man. Like we are used to it at this point. At least I'm used to it at this point. It's probably an unintentional change, and they've kind of relayed that as well. And it's not really that as big a deal as some might think. So we understand, where it comes from and kind of why it happened and all that stuff. And it's not like they intentionally went out there being like, oh, we're going to change the MP5 before champs. It did not happen like that. It was an accidental change that kind of made it through. And it's just something that we're going to have to deal with. And honestly, it's nothing new. That's how COD Esports is, man. You just got to adapt or die.
One follow-up on that is if you like, I know that there was conversations about reverting it back. If you had your way, I'm asking your personal opinion on this. Would you have wanted to have it reverted back for champs, or are you fine with it the way that it is?
For me personally, I don't use the MP5 at all, so I don't care. So honestly, for me, it really doesn't matter even in the slightest. That's a question you'll have to ask my teammates, and honestly, they're comfortable with it, man. Like they're warriors, and they're gonna roll with the punches and make sure that they face everything that gets thrown at them, and they're gonna make sure they're gonna grind their teeth and bite down and really make sure that they do everything that they have to do to be prepared for the moment that we're gonna have here in a couple days.
Great. Back to Sean Collins, Dallas Morning News.
Having played and won a championship with Simp and Abizi last year, does knowing their tendencies help at all whenever you're playing against them, or is it kind of a different kind of ball game when it comes to playing against and playing with?
I think all of us from that old United team know each other's tendencies way too well. It's something like I've learned throughout my many years of competing. Like I've picked up on player tendencies. Like if you're in a 1v1 situation and the bomb is down, certain players will always hop the bomb right away and try and defuse it, and then some players will never hop the bomb until they kill you. And there's just tendencies like that across every player, across every mode. Even just small things like if you make them weak and they run behind cover, are they going to instantly challenge you, or are they going to run away and play their life? Like little tendencies like that. And I think all of us from that old United squad just know each other so well that you have to switch up your gameplay versus them. Like I know when I play Simp and Abizi or Prestini and Arcides, there are certain things that I normally like to do that I know they're going to pick up on and I know they're going to be ready for. So I kind of have to not do those things. So they're kind of wasting time looking for them and wasting, resources looking for, certain flanks and stuff like that. But then I just won't do it. So I think there's definitely something to be said for all of us knowing each other's tendencies. And I honestly think that that's why the matches are always so tight, is that we just know each other so well.
Great. Going into Kevin Correa. Go ahead.
Hey man, what's been the team's mentality going into Saturday? Is it just going through the motions, just repetition of strats, and just staying hyper focused, or have you guys had a chance to kind of be more laid back, have take advantage of this 6 days or so between matches where you guys can really just relax and not have to focus too much on this match?
Yeah, this break in between playoffs and champs has been definitely a little weird. There's only 4 teams remaining in the tournament. One of them we play. So that means we only have 2 other potential scrim partners. But, chances, obviously we're going to have to play one of them even if we win or lose the tournament. I guess there is a chance we play FaZe in the grand finals if we were to win again. So, that the chances are we're probably going to play London or Chicago at some point. So it's super tough to have good practice right now. We're paying amateur players to put pickup teams together to play us, but even then, that's not really good practice. We're kind of just smoking them over and over, and that's not really the practice that we're looking for. And so it's been really tough, and we've been making sure to just not don't put too much pressure on us. Don't think too much about it. We're doing our best. I'm sure all the other teams are doing their best too. They kind of have to deal with this as well. So it's been really weird to just kind of have to sit here and not play. I just want to play. We just want to get this over with and either be victorious or not be victorious. And we're just want to play. And really that's been our thing, is just get on every day, have some fun, practice a little bit, win or lose. Our mindset is there's not much that's going to get fixed. If there's something blaring, blatantly obvious, we can try and fix it. But, we've been practicing for a year for this moment, and anything we do in these next couple days or these past few days, like that's not really gonna it's not gonna change anything. So like, it's really just keep the shot warm, make sure you're playing on your controller a little bit, make sure you're shooting around on your controller a little bit, and just staying sharp and focused. We haven't been putting too much time in. It's been a little more laid back, but I'm sure today, tomorrow, and the next day, it's really gonna ramp up.
Great. Back to Teo.
All right. So I had a question about Illey based on what you were saying earlier. But speaking of the chance that you guys play Chicago or London, I'd actually like to segue to something about that. So just looking at the possibility that you guys play Chicago, is there some extra motivation, or are you guys is it in you guys' mind that you'd like to help Crim get revenge against Scump and Formal?
Not at all. None of us think about that. I think maybe Krim thinks about that, but the rest of us don't really care about his rivalries and his beef and stuff like that. I think we don't want to play Chicago. I hope London wins that match or something. I hope. I don't know. It's going to be a tough battle between any of these teams. It's going to be definitely a throwdown battle between any of these teams, especially in the top four. So I'm not really looking forward to playing anybody. Not looking forward to getting revenge for anybody. I just want to win. I just want to win the tournament with whoever gets put in front of us.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, on to Jamie from the loadout.
Yeah, hi Clay. Can be a bit of a sensitive subject, but you are one of the league's oldest players, 28 years old now. But you're in a position where you're going to win back-to-back championships. Do you think we've saw Karma retire this year? Obviously, his situation team-wise is a bit different to yours. But do you think players might start to leave the scene too early? And are you just built different for not dropping out so soon?
So I think it's a testament to the decisions that I make as a player. I have, definitely toyed with the idea of retirement, especially during my almost 4-year-long drought of not winning a major championship. Winning for this or for as much as I did, and then not winning for as much as I did, it definitely was tough to deal with. But I think that there's decisions you have to make as a person and priorities you kind of have to set up. And the top priority for me year in and year out is winning major championships and contending for a ring at the end of the year. And it's what I love doing. It's what I enjoy doing. I love competitive Call of Duty. I love being competitive at a high level in something. And so being able to be at the top of the world and in an esport that, tens of millions of people play is a dream come true. And it's something that every single day I'm thankful for. So I think realistically, the decisions I make as a player kind of lead me to success in a way. And I've learned how to grow as a leader and mature as a communicator and a teammate and all that stuff. And I took a huge pay cut to play in Dallas with this team. And that was something that, I had to decide on before the year started. And it was, do I want to go get paid $200,000 more on another team, but I'm going to have to pick up a bunch of amateurs and it's going to be kind of a question mark? Or do I want to take this huge pay cut and play with people I know can win and people I know I can work well with, and I know that we'll be able to contend for a championship title? And that's really where it is, man. Like if I was, on Seattle this year and only won 5 series all year or whatever it was, that would be insanely rough on me and something that, I, might retire from. But being able to be on an organization like Empire under the umbrella of Envy, working for somebody like Hastro, having the teammates that I have and the coaching that I have, it's just the perfect thing for me. And it's what keeps me going. It what keeps me it keeps the drive high. It makes me want to win for my teammates and for the org and for all that more than I want to win for myself. And the satisfaction I get from stuff like that is really what drives me. So I might be a little bit different in that way, but winning's the number one thing for me, the number one priority. And as long as I still have a chance to win, I'll still stick around.
I can wait for that.
How about now? Is that better?
There we go. Yeah.
Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Yeah, so it's a good question how we're going to celebrate during this time. But yeah, we actually already have a contact with the office at CDL to ship the trophy out to the winner. So I think they're going to overnight ship the trophy to whichever team wins. And we actually, a couple of us are going to play in the office. So yeah, we have a couple of our players playing in the HQ. I'll also be there, and I think our GM Ray will be there as well. And so yeah, I mean, I think the immediate celebration will be for all of us to probably go a little wild in our TeamSpeak server all together and talk about it. And I'll probably go around and give a couple hugs to the guys that are in the office, and then absolutely we'll plan something special for these guys. You know, for a kind of a lockdown quarantine party, so to say, with just probably just the team, the immediate team. I mean, these guys deserve it. They've been putting their heart and soul into the game every day for a long time, and yeah, if we take this one home, we're gonna definitely get together.
All right, cool. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Going well.
One second. Trying to. All right, let's see. So obviously, you don't want to play favorites. You know, you put the team together, and you know, I'm sure you value everybody equally. But just looking at the season, trying to be kind of as objective as possible, who do you think has been the best player for you guys this season?
It's really hard to say, man. That question I'll never answer the way you ask it. You know, if you ask me who the best player on the team has been all season, I'll never answer it that way, because everything that we do really is a team effort, and you know, everybody contributes a certain way. If one guy's having an amazing performance, most of the time it's almost always due to his teammates allowing him to have that performance. So you know, by doing certain things or communicating certain things. So you know, I can't really answer it with one specific player, but what I will say is that the young players on the team, between Shottzy and Illey, our two youngest players, our rookie players, those guys deserve a ton of credit, and both of them individually and together as a little unit. They are bringing a different element to the game right now than you see from other younger players that's at their age or experience level. So if I had to give team MVP, it would be a co-MVP to Illey and Shottzy.
All right, I can appreciate that, and I definitely understand not wanting to just pick out one favorite. I had to ask.
I really can't. I mean, I really just can't, because like Call of Duty is just not that kind of game. You know, it's like, yeah, your teammates really open things up for you in this game.
And then if I could just follow up on that real quickly, you know, obviously a lot has been said about Shottzy by the media, but Illey kind of goes under the radar, although a lot of people consider him to kind of be the X factor for the team. So I'm just curious to know, like, looking at how the team works and how everybody opens things up for each other, how do you guys go about unlocking, like, Undertaker Illey, you know, to go with the meme?
Yeah, I think he unlocks it himself, to be quite honest. I'll tell you, like, you know, I've had talks with him about his specific play style, and I tell him how much of a veteran he is in the game, even though he's in his rookie season. He makes plays that, you know, like 5 years of experience would still tell you to like jump into the gunfight and not back down from the gunfight to help your teammates like get the kill instead. You know, like he does things like that where, like, you know, he'll pick up a couple kills on the map, and then there's a third player that he knows exactly where that guy is, and he could easily go and challenge that third player to try and get that third kill, even though he might be like weak or something, right? Where he'd be at the disadvantage in the fight. And I'm telling you guys, like nine times out of 10, every player in the CDL tries to challenge and get that third kill. Illey always like backs down, and that while that player on the other team is looking for him, his teammates like get them in the side or get them in the back, because, you know, he's just kind of a ghost on the map after those first two kills. So he's making these veteran plays that I'm telling you guys are just way beyond his years, and you know, that's what happens with him. And he unlocks Undertaker Illey himself. We don't know where it comes from; it just happens.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
On to Kevin Correa.
Hey, Stro.
Hey.
Obviously, COVID affecting the inaugural CDL season, but from an ownership, or I guess perspective, if you had to give it a grade, what would it be? I mean, were you grading it more on like entertainment or, you know, competitive play? What would you first think about this inaugural season?
Yeah, sure. If I had to give it a genre, it would be a soap opera. If I had to give it a grade in terms of entertainment level, I would say a B plus, maybe an A minus. I'd actually probably go with an A minus after last weekend. Got a big upgrade. Last weekend was real intense. Yeah, I would say that we're starting to put on a show. Towards the end of the season, even just online. Having to play online. I mean, it's something that nobody wanted, but given the conditions in the world, we have to play this tournament online. We could not put players at risk, and we could not put families at risk, and it's tough. It's tough, but I think we're definitely making the most out of the situation and showing that no matter what happens, we can make this work.
Great. On to Jamie from the loadout.
Hi, Mike. I just wanted to ask, from the perspective of a team owner, are there any areas where you would like the league to kind of improve in the build-up to the 2021 season? Obviously, it's their first season, so there's a lot of feedback going on, but where would you like to see improvements made ahead of them?
Yeah, sure. That's a good question. So while we understand we're part of a much larger ecosystem in the Call of Duty realm, right? It's not just Call of Duty Esports. We're part of a much bigger ecosystem. While we understand that, we'd really like to probably have more conversations at the developer level and studio level, just to ensure that maybe there are a few other extra things that we could have implemented in the game to make sure we're our players are comfortable and the playing field is fair. We want to make sure that we have the most fair playing field we can, and we also want to make sure we put in features in the game that help us promote the league and help drive more audience. I think that's what we want. We know that when we gain the attention of a casual Call of Duty player and they start watching Call of Duty Esports, we have a really great chance of converting them into a diehard fan that's going to return and watch the games. And so, as an owner in the league, I'd like to see us advertise the game or advertise the league more inside the game.
Great. Back to Sean Collins.
Hey, hey, Mike. I was wondering, with your young core, does it seem possible for you guys to build a dynasty? I know it's super early, and obviously you guys have, foundation with Crim and Clay. But do you see this and like rosters just in general, if it's not just for you guys, but in general, moving forward and sticking together for a long time in this league?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see the top few rosters probably mostly stick together. Yeah, and it's really going to be difficult. I think it's going to be harder than ever to create a dynasty team in this league because all the talent is really compiled into fewer teams, right? And so, in the past we might have 40 teams, right? That the top talent in the world was kind of consolidated on, and now it's down to 12. And so, yeah, it's really difficult to create a dynasty team here. I think every game is going to be important, but we'll see if we can do it. I mean, that's certainly our goal. We're heading into this trying to be the best Call of Duty League team in the world, and for many years to come, that's always the goal. And so, yeah, we have a fantastic foundation for that, and only time will tell us.
Great. Any other questions for Mike?
Don't be shy. I'm here.
All right, go ahead, Teo.
So I asked this to Clayster, and he obviously said the players aren't focused on it, except for maybe Crim. But fans are going to be curious about that Huntsman Empire matchup. Obviously, for you, there's the Hex rivalry, which is nice to have. But for Crim, there's also a rivalry afoot. So kind of like looking at that, let's say you guys do have a chance to play them. Is there kind of any extra oomph or juice to that matchup for you?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's I don't think we're really thinking about it that much, to be honest. I mean, I think at the beginning of the season we would have been, but we learned, I think, early on in the season to not focus on that. you know, um, honestly, in all my years of being rivals with Hector and his teams, this is the year that feels like it's the least important, to think about. So, we're really just focused on being the best team in the league and beating everyone now. And I think that I think that's going to show. I mean, if we have a matchup with them and win or lose, I don't think you're going to see crazy reactions from us, or maybe as entertaining reactions from us as you might have seen in the past. I think it's going to be more of a good game and good luck if we lose, and a good game, well played. You guys had a hell of a season if we win.
Great. And to wrap up here, we're going to have one more question with Ardo Cal, a fun one to close it out.
Hastro, how much do you talk to Hex before big events like this? I mean, in the event you play him, do you guys talk? Do you text? Do you make bets? Like, take us through the Hex Hastro rivalry over the years.
We talk a lot, but we had, so throughout the year, we sometimes we'll go, stretches of 3 or 4 months without talking. But I don't. I can't say we go 3 or 4 months without talking. We'll still send each other some messages and check in. But we've been talking a lot lately. We actually talked a couple nights ago. We went fishing together, not last weekend, but the weekend before. And we actually drove out about 2 hours outside of Fort Worth. So we had a long car ride out, got on the water, had a lot of talking and to do, and then 2-hour car ride back. So yeah, we talk a good bit. Technically, the way we look at it now is we're kind of partners in this league. So we want to grow the league and build up the audience and make sure we have an amazing league for everyone in the future to enjoy. So technically we look at it as we're partners now, but that rivalry is definitely still real. And we even talked about it, every time we talk about where our teams are and what we're thinking. So yeah, it's still great to have the relationship with him that I have, and still be able to understand how much we want to beat each other and it be somewhat friendly.